Well, hello again, universe, and welcome back to Hungry Wolf's Reloading Bench, or what has faithfully served as my reloading bench over the years. This is actually the dining room table, as most people call it, but not you and I. We'll call this a reloading bench because that's nearest and dearest of functions to my heart. Um, but I think it's time. It's time to discuss what's going on here. So for many years, I used the simple single stage Lee reloading press pump action like that. Strapped it to this 2x4 with some simple bolts and used wood clamps to hold that to my dinner table. Now, that worked fine for many years. And that works if you've got limited space, or if you live in an apartment, or you don't have enough room in your garage, or you don't have good space for a workbench. But my friends, there comes a time when every man needs a workbench. That time is nigh, especially after I acquired this baby here. So this is the Lee turret press, and I like it a lot. It's not considered an auto loader or a multi-stage press. However, it does have that advantage. It's kind of a cool transitional piece, and hopefully it reloads very accurately because I'm into precision shooting. So I'm hoping that it can produce the level of precision that I'm looking for. If it can, and it has the capability to do 4 stages with one of these turrets, which we'll get to later. I've got my grievances about those. Then I'm in business. It's got some nice heft to it. I think it's just time to graduate off the 2x4 onto a proper reloading bench. But I will say one thing before we get to that. So this is the cam, and that rod that you saw come up is called an indexing rod. It's what advances the stages in the cylinder. So if that's installed, it'll rotate to the next stage. If it's not installed, you have a single stage press. Best of both worlds, I thought. I can do batch processing on each individual stage for consistency, or I have the option to just pump out ammo into an ammo tray. So that sounded really exciting to me. I liked the features there. It looked hefty. The problem came with these discs. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but these are what they call the quick change 4-hole discs. But if you can see up close, there's actually casting marks where there should be threads, and they're flat where they should be ridges. So a few of these holes, I don't know if they had enough thread to really hold the die. Anybody that's had a stuck cartridge while they're resizing or something, you got to force on that thing. And I'm just not confident that this little aluminum frisbee here has the force to do that. Additionally, one of them I couldn't even screw a die into, which renders the thing utterly useless. But I'm trying to just give you a close-up, and I know this is difficult to get it to autofocus. Here we go. So you can see maybe some of the flat ridges. Maybe if I can get the focus just right, you can still see the casting in these holes, and that's just super low quality. So I don't know if there's enough bite there to hold my dies, I guess is my concern. I had to get on the phone with Lee's quality department. Tried a few. Some of these are worse than others. And I think 1 out of the 3 is probably good enough to hold a die. But yeah, that's not what you're going for. We're reloading quality ammunition, and you can see, just the horrible casting marks in there. It just makes my skin crawl. As somebody that's working with precision tools to make a precision bullet, something like this just kind of steals the wind out of your sails before you even leave the harbor. So after trying 3 discs, I think I got one that will hold dies, and I'm going to give it a try. We're just going to make some bullets and see what happens. These 2 are pretty much junk. I'd feel bad even reselling them. I think I'm going to end up just scrapping them or selling them with huge disclaimers that the threading is horrible, because I just fed up. Okay, so that aside, it is time. It is time to introduce the baby, my new workbench. Yeah, that's right. Hungry Wolf's Workbench is actually going to have a workbench. Figurative title, I think. for the series here, but here it is. We've got some plans. Look at those. Do those look like plans to you? They look like plans to me. Now, I will point out that I made it 6 feet long. Why? Because I wanted plenty of bench. I didn't want to be cheap on the bench. This is something I'm going to be using for many years. Thousands of bullets. Well, let's make it comfortable. Creature features I built in. Made out of half the 2x4 construction, which apparently have tripled in price since the last time I was in the store. I can't believe it, but man, I could buy like a 6-pack for what I paid for each one of those 2x4s. Apparently, off in the city, there are some people that are, devastated by a pandemic, and that's drove lumber prices through the roof. So, of course, that's when I choose to build a workbench, right when lumber's at its highest. So, here we are. Now, I will notice that I put some extra supports in here, probably unnecessary, but I put those in there so I can really pound on this bench. It's going to see its use over the years. I've made everything over in force just because I wanted it to have mass and weight, which gives me inertia for the pounding that I'm going to be doing on it. I did build in a little shelf here, and that shelf is going to hold my reloading gear, right? So I'll be able to stack it on that shelf, as well as this will double as a footrest when I'm on my stool. Now, it's at standing height, so I'm going to have a stool in front of it, be able to sit or stand, user's choice. But I did build it as hefty as I could. Now, after I got all the dimensions figured out, I went ahead and just made a bill of materials based on the lumber I didn't have in my stockpile. And so I'm super excited. Now, we are losing our daylight today, so I think to give you the behind the scenes when I build this, I need more daylight. So as excited as I am right now to graduate this workbench onto a real workbench, I'm afraid that video will probably have to wait until tomorrow. When we have a little daylight, we'll get things going. And by the way, I'm going to build it with more quality than these silly little turret press quick change apparatus. Then we'll be able to build some of our favorite cartridges. Yes, that's right. Super excited because I reload some expensive cartridges. One that'll draw your attention to, I mean, some of my favorites. This is just a straight shooter all the way, one of my favorite calibers. I think I've mentioned this before on the reloading channel, but it's 260. And actually, let me put down the 243, which I picked up, and grab the actual 260. Favorite cartridge. I mean, this is just accurate out to 1,000 rounds. No recoil. I mean, it is great for the recoil sensitive, for accuracy, for any game deer, medium game size deer, whatever. It's very similar to Creedmoor, you'll notice. So on the left, you get the Creedmoor. On the right, you've got the 260. Basically, Creedmoor just copied the 260, which has been winning the 1,000-yard competitions for the last 40 years, and marketed it better and said that they were the new hot ticket. And for some reason, everybody in the world loves this and hates this. I want to know why. Honestly, I need to ask that question to YouTube land, because I don't fully understand why I'm able to get 1,000 or 100 feet per second more out of the 260. So tell me what makes that a better round. Why did this just get born and become the most popular thing on earth shortly after its birth? Won the military contract out over that. Can't understand it. I've even seen the military slides. Still don't understand why. YouTubers, help me understand why the Creedmoor has any advantage over the 260. I am curious. That aside, the next one that I really want to draw your attention to is one of my favorites here, and this is a 7mm Ultra Magnum. Yeah, it holds 90-some grains of powder. It's a beast. That is a cannon. That gets you noticed at the range. People will jump. It's a fun one to shoot. And just for comparison, this is what people would consider a Magnum cartridge. That's a cute little term. Magnum. That's for the boys. But I mean, great round. Lots of history. Amazing precision. 7mm Magnum compared to the 7mm Ultra Magnum. So cases are more expensive. They're about $3 a case. Powder capacity is higher, same bullets, but much more go juice behind it. So, at $3 a bullet, it was a reloader's choice for me to jump into the sport, jump into the game. And then there's a bunch of other fun ones here too. We'll get to all these later. Let's not make this video longer than it has to be. I started this video about the workbench, and that is how we should finish it. So as soon as we get some daylight, we're going to jump out there. We're going to cut some boards. We're going to build this monster. We'll see how it comes out. Can't wait to talk to you guys soon.